Okay, so you've begun taking the action, the aligned action. You spend time practicing. And then when it comes to the crunch, yeah, things are going a wee bit wonky. What now? Well, today I want to tell you a story from actually this very morning as I'm recording this on how I experienced a similar situation unfold. This has nothing to do with horses, by the way, but how I think if you could take a couple of lessons from this and apply it to you and your horse, you're going to be just fine. You're going to be grand going forward with this. Okay, let's dive in. Hey there, and welcome to the Daily Strides podcast. My name is Lorna. I'm an equestrian trainer and coach, and I work with riders from all over the world, helping them to understand the nitty-gritty about not only becoming a better version of themselves in the saddle, but also helping their horse to understand that and the partnership as well. Okay, so as I mentioned, this morning my 6-year-old had his first official school concert. Now, when I tell you the excitement was 90 building up to this, I really mean it was. He was just so excited, and there was so much practice, and it was weeks and weeks of dedication from teachers and interns and assistants and parents and of course the children themselves. And it all led up to this kind of big day that, going to bed last night, he was like, I'm so excited. It's the show tomorrow. It's my concert. And I was saying, oh, it's going to be marvellous. I can't wait. So yeah, roll on this morning. And we get to school, and obviously we send him off and kind of get him dickied up. He was dressed up as a cowboy, and we get him dickied up and dressed up and all that fun stuff. And then obviously the parents head back to the hall in kind of anticipation for this wonderful show that's going to actually happen and that's going to unfold before us, okay? And the show was absolutely brilliant. Like, it was fantastic, but I'm going to be honest with you, it was not without a couple of levels of chaos, like absolute, pure and total chaos, okay? Like, there was kids facing the back wall of the stage, like, so basically giving their back to the audience. I don't know why. Obviously, there was lots of things there for children to look at. As I said, a lot of time went into this. It was really, really well done. So maybe there was something that caught their eye, like a scarecrow or something. I don't know, okay? But, and then you all these helpers up and they're trying to spin these children around. So as obviously they're facing the audience and that their parents can kind of see this, okay? There was children, going left when they should be going right. There was ones clapping when they should have been waving. There was all the things. But as I was sitting there, enjoying all of it, by the way, okay, because it was so lovely just to see these children up there and just being so, I suppose, willing to kind of give it a bash, okay? Give it a go. And, it wasn't perfect, but it was in its own way. But as I was sitting there, I was just thinking, this is exactly how we need to approach our riding and our training, of ourselves as riders, but also our training with our horses as well. Because at the end of the day, when you're working with your horse, and whether you're in the arena or whether you're on the trails, okay, you're practicing, okay? And very often as riders, we will practice and practice and practice in a very confined kind of a situation where we can control a lot of what's going on there, okay? So it could be that you've been practicing maybe a transition, okay? Or you've been practicing, I don't know, a certain stride distance between jumps or whatever it is, okay? So you've been practicing this thing and you actually get to the point where it feels really, really good. It feels great. But the thing is that what happens is that practice is very, very different to actually working and doing the thing when under pressure, okay? Now, under pressure just means that it's a different scenario. There's a different feel to it. I don't necessarily mean you're going competing, and I don't mean that you're at a clinic and you've got everybody's gaze on you, okay? This could be you and your horse working in the field instead of being in the arena, okay? So it feels different. This could be you and your horse being on the road and suddenly a wheelie bin appears out of nowhere when you go around the corner, okay, or something like that, okay? That is what I mean about under pressure. Under pressure is where things feel different to how they have felt up to that point. And what's really important is that when we have been practicing for so long in these more kind of, I don't want to say like clinical settings, because I don't really feel an arena is clinical, okay? But in these more ideal settings, and then when we take ourselves out of that and we apply pressure, like the children today, they were on a stage, it was live, there was like loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of parents watching, there was cameras videoing, there was a lot of things going on, okay? That was pressure. And there you're going to have mistakes, but mistakes are not failures. They are part of the kind of lived experience and even the growth process that we need to go forward, okay? Now, I want to give you a couple of examples from riders that I've been working with, not just recently, but also over the years as well, and how I've seen this happen. I know from my own experience, me, myself and I, okay, when I was a little person and I was doing little jumping tracks, okay, and all of that fun stuff. And at home, I had no problem at all. Like, you'd fly over them. Myself and the pony were great. Kind of, it was like a point and go, okay? Once I could memorize the track, well, we were sorted. We were golden, okay? And I was even good at memorizing the track. So we should have been technically golden all the way around. Whenever I would go to a show, I would instantly feel this pressure. And what the pressure was, it wasn't being somewhere different. For me, it was the fact that I thought everybody was watching me. Now, I do realize the irony of having a podcast right now, okay? But anyway, just bear with me on this one, okay? So, yeah, and I would feel like everybody was watching me. And what one of my instructors had me do, and I remember this so clearly, she had me sing a song going around. It was actually Don't Worry, Be Happy, okay? And I was like singing this, going around the thing, and she was like, no, you're, that's all I want you to focus on. I don't care about anything else. Because I'd practiced everything else so much, that wasn't the issue. The issue was me freezing up and not being able to put what I'd practiced into practice, okay? So by singing, I was able to obviously keep going. And there we go. It was able to shift it. Was it perfect? No. But what I was able to do from that then was to learn that, okay, I can work under pressure. It might not be brilliant, hey, but I can do it. And I can actually get better at that as well. I can practice working under pressure. So it was just like this mindset shift for me. Now, another rider that I was working with quite a while ago, she was wanting to do dressage and she really was trying to practice her sitting trot. And this was becoming like a big thing for her. And it felt very important. And she then got to her first show. And what she hadn't anticipated in all the practice was how the energy of being somewhere else was going to, tweak her horse's way of going. And the trot just became a lot bigger. Now, if you've ever been doing sit and trot on a horse, you know that when the trot gets, quote unquote, bigger, the sit and trot can become a challenge, hey? Now add that to the fact that she was also, I'm going to assume, feeling the way I had felt all those years ago, with those nerves and with this kind of real feeling that the pressure was on, which was leading to stiffness through her body. And that is, it's like the killer of the sit and trot, okay? So yeah, she then had to just accept the flow. And it was when she was able to just relax into it, accept the flow, and accept that this was what was going to happen, she then was able to move her body a little bit more. Was it perfect? No, okay, it wasn't at all. She felt that she'd missed a lot, like we were videoing it, we reviewed the video. She felt that she missed a lot of things and whatever. But I said, you know what? You done it, and you actually got to the point at the end. Okay, and it took a while, but at the end where your sitting trot was getting to the point where all the practice you'd been putting in was able to begin to shine through. And I said, now you know what to expect. So you know, again, just like I did all those years ago, you know what to practice now, okay? What the next level of the practice is. And it was like such an aha moment for her. And anyway, subsequently they went on and done magic stuff and it was great. And she's just a fantastic rider, fantastic horse, lovely, okay? Now, the final example I'm going to give you was from another rider of mine. And this is maybe a little bit more relatable for everybody. She had her young horse, the horse was backed about a year or two at this point and was going nicely, like really nicely. And they went out for a hack and there was a plastic bag. Oh, plastic bags, eh? The nemesis of so many riders all over the world. And there was a plastic bag and the plastic bag was stuck in the tree and it was like waving about. And her horse was like having just none of this. This was not going down. But she was, first of all, very kind of, whoa, like my horse's reaction to this is totally different to how he's ever reacted before. And I was, obviously we were speaking about this afterwards, and I was like, that's okay. You know, he's allowed to do that. So she was then able to think, okay, so maybe I need to do something a little bit different. And she initially was kind of fighting with her horse, but then she thought, hold on, maybe if I remain consistent, I can get my horse to come back to consistency. And I think that is like one of the keys to the kingdom, folks, okay? When you can remain in alignment with like how you have been modeling things for your horse, when you can remain to that standard, when you can stay there, you then invite your horse to come join you there. And in this case, it helped for that. Now, why am I telling you all this? Okay, so just like today with the concert, all those things went wrong, okay? Like, the kids, they were turning around at the wrong time and they were sitting when they should have been standing and they were standing when they should have been sitting. And there was all these things. It was like, as I said, it was a bit chaotic, but it was lovely. It was beautiful in the chaos, okay? I loved it. It was so lovely. But you know what? All of those children came off that stage feeling even more confident than when they had been in the initial practice. And the reason they felt that way was because they had actually worked through it. They put what they had been practicing into action. Okay, they done it. Things went sideways. Like they went sideways, hey? Not everything, but you know, a lot of it. And it was still fine. It was actually great. It added to it, in my opinion, okay? But really and truly, I think that when you treat wonky moments, when things go sideways for you in your riding, and you treat it as proof of kind of, okay, this is great because now we're growing, we're reaching to the next level, instead of it being a total disaster and you're like, oh my goodness, like this is terrible. And when you treat it with compassion and encouragement and enthusiasm, even if you're not feeling it in the moment. Like I know for a fact the rider whose horse was spooking was not initially feeling compassionate, encouraging or enthusiastic about that particular situation. But once she brought it back and she was like, hold on, let's respond how I have been training, how I've been practicing the response. And then being able to do that, she was able to bring her horse to her and get her through it. Then she really felt those feelings and her horse responded, obviously, from it as well. I think that things are going to go wonky when you take action, because I've been talking the past few weeks about like getting out there and doing something, not just sitting on the fence, okay? Like doing something that aligns with you, that feels good for you. That's the action that takes you forward, okay? Things are going to go wonky. They are, like that is par for the course. But you know what? If you can just see that as being part of the process, okay? Be kind to yourself. Be kind to your horse. Think of those little kids on the stage. Like nobody was going to shout at them and say, you're going the wrong way. Nobody. Because you know what? It didn't matter. What mattered? The fact that they were up there getting to perform and to show us all of the hours of hard work they'd put into this and just be there with their friends and it be something magic for them that they'll probably remember their whole lives, but that also is shaping a lot of what is going to happen going forward. I think that compassion, that kindness, just that lovely kindness that you could express to you and your horse, that is so, so important. I cannot stress it enough, okay? Like, they're not mistakes. And you know what? Even if they are mistakes, if things go sideways and you're like, well, you know what? I didn't handle that as great as I could. That's fine. Just say, in that moment, I didn't. But now I know better. And you've got now a tool that you can use, that you can start to say, if something like that was to happen again, if I found myself in that similar situation again, I am going to try actually do this instead. Like last time we done that, didn't pan out. This time we're going to try this, okay? And whatever the case is, I think it's really, really important as a rider to do that, okay? And then to celebrate the effort. Like everybody left that hall today feeling just marvellous. And they were marvellous, and rightly so. I think they were so good. They've done a great job. But not only that, all of the helpers didn't, and I'm saying helpers, obviously this is like a word to encompass all of the people who are helping the children, okay? So there's so many people. But they all also felt this loveliness, this just, it was like an acknowledgement that it was all the practice and that it then, if it shone through, it really, you could see the result of it. And you know what? As I said, those children left feeling so much more confident about their own abilities, about getting on stage the next time. But not only that, I actually think a lot of the helpers, okay, and I'm saying the parents here in particular, probably left feeling more enthusiasm for the next time and for the next show. And almost like that the practice, it's okay, it's good to practice. And even though it's hard and it can feel difficult and it can feel challenging, it's okay because you get that payoff at the end. And I think it's so, so, so important. Okay, so if you have not already, sign up for the Your Signature Ride Challenge. You can go over to stridesforsuccess.com/ride. Let me know how it goes. Think of yourself as being like one of those little people on the stage this morning, okay? And just see how it goes. There's no judgment. Who cares? Like, nobody cares. It's just a bit of fun, okay? Let me see how it goes. And then if you would like some more help with your practice, make sure you pop over to stridesforsuccess.com/or. I am currently taking riders in for Restart and Reschool. I would love to work with you privately to help you with your horse to get those, put all the practice into actual tangible results for you and your horse. Okay, I am going to leave it there. Have a fantastic week. I'm going to put all of the links for all of this into the show notes so you can just scroll down wherever you're listening and get them there. Have a lovely week and I'll chat to you soon. Be good. Bye.